are and what we expect, you know. And so Daniel would go through a slide and just walk you guys through the process. Then I would kind of like give you guys a general briefing on safety, security, and service, and what we expect. You know, so he would just go through the slide, and then I'll jump back in.
All right, hey guys, I'm Daniel. Like I said, this is going to be a FedEx operation, so a little different than Amazon, but some of you guys work with us right now. It's going to be same to a middle mile injection to the post offices, so you'll still be doing that. A lot of these post offices you've probably already been to, so it'll be kind of familiar roads and routes. So this is a quick overview of the operation itself. So it comes from FedEx, then the FedEx carrier takes it to our dock, or the dock we'll be working out of, and then that's where we come in. This is where you guys will come into the dock around 2 o'clock in the morning, load up your truck. You don't have to scan, it's a good thing, and then you deliver to the USPS.
I think the time for FedEx is 12 o'clock. No?
Dispatch is going to be 2.
2?
Yeah, I'll give you guys. I'll brief you guys.
King is going to do an operational idea. So these are some of the areas we're doing work right now. Sacramento obviously is the new one. Seattle is the most recent one as well, and we are still looking to increase our operations in the West Coast, especially in California. So we may be growing you guys as well. So this is a quick operations flow. Again, it was kind of like the picture, but you want to start here. So this is more of our operations team. You guys will come in. You'll log in, the data track. You don't have to scan, so you can ignore that part. You load your truck, go to the FedEx clerk, just like Amazon, check out with us, and then on your way. When you're on your way, you get to the USPS offices. This is where it gets a little different. Your app, you have to sign out and close out your order in data track for drivers on your phone, and then you have to get a signature from the FedEx clerk. So you can't just drop it off. You have to get a signature. That's how it closes out. That's how we know that you guys have delivered the package, and that's how we know that you guys, we also you have to have your location services on, so we know where you guys are at all times. We know, hey, he was here, the order wasn't closed, something must have happened, we'll give you a call. You can close it out, or we can close it out for you. Just give us a call, hey, didn't close it out, but I delivered it. And that way we can go from there. So this is kind of what we're graded off of, little KPIs. So our service level is basically 60% of the freight has to be delivered by 6 o'clock. You're dispatching around 2. The routes aren't necessarily that far one way, so you should be good. No need to rush on the roads, be safe. Although this is where the scanning comes in. So if you scan, we get 100%. If you don't scan, there's a negative account. So within 25 minutes to, I guess, 30 minutes of your delivery, you would get, if you don't scan, you'll get taken off. Even if you leave the dock, you can still close out an order if you have the signature. So you may have forgotten to close out the order, gotten the signature, and left, and you can be on the road at a light, not saying use your phone while driving, but be like, hey, I forgot to close out that order, I can close it out. If you don't close it out, that's when problems start to happen. We'll get a call from FedEx saying your drivers aren't closing out your order. That's when we have to reach out to you guys, and we have to have a corrective action plan. Let's see, that's just internal right here. So right here, yeah, the goal is to reduce manual entry in the software. So when you guys call us and say, hey, I forgot to close an order, that's where we have to do it. We're trying to minimize that as much as possible. Be really greatly appreciated on all of our ends if you guys do that. So here's a quick kind of breakdown of what everything is graded off of. You'll mostly be seeing these reports come in every day off of your scan percentage, which drivers aren't scanning, which route wasn't scanned, and then stops as well. So that'll mostly be sent to you, Sonny. I don't know, is DJ here?
Yeah,
DJ, how's it going? This will be sent to you as well. And then is Esmail here? Esmail, this will be sent to you as well, man. Okay. So you three will be getting these reports. This is how you'll know where you're basically standing each day, each week. FedEx will send us the report. We break it down and see what went wrong, if it was a, I guess, local error or a driver error, and then we'll send out the report as well. Okay, there. On-time service. This is just basically showing up to the dock, getting it scanned, and signing out on the order. That's another overview of that. So the orders will come in. Everything should be staged by the time you guys show up. If not, it's not that long of a process to get everything staged. But this is what the barcodes will look like. So on your trip sheet, you want to match up your address on your trip sheet and your what is it, Kingsley? Is it the number?
Yeah.
The load scan number to the barcode on the pallets. That's where you guys are going to know that it's staged correctly as well. It's going to be first in, last out, just like Amazon. Your last stop is going to be the first one in. So make sure we're loading up that way to prevent trouble for you guys when you're delivering and everything like that. Loadout. So these are some of the things that you guys already have probably in your trucks every day. You can check in with the dispatcher when you come in, get your trip sheet. We do require the blue polo. We're going to be getting orders in for you guys on the JW polos to be handing out. So you're in those, but for now, just the blue polo works, plain blue. You just compare, like I said, the stage pieces to your trip sheet. Make sure everything matches up. If it doesn't match up, let us know right away. So that way, it's not your fault that you were late loading. We can make sure that it was a staging purpose, so you guys don't get blamed for anything. So escalate any problems, especially on the road, escalate. You check out with the dispatcher as well. Driver secure the vehicle, close out. And then your badge has got to be visible when you come into the dock. One thing on the dock as well, as Kingsley notified me, is no phones. So since you don't have to scan, you can't be on your phone in the dock. Just a heads up. So this is kind of the escalation process, as I was saying. If you're running late at any point, traffic, you think you're going to be late, weather, anything, just call the local team. Like I said, there's really not a CPT, so there's no reason to rush or risk getting anybody injured by trying to make a delivery as quickly as possible. If you have a breakdown and you're anticipating, you got caught at a post office and you're anticipating a late arrival at another stop, you will call the local team. Kingsley, I'll be here until Wednesday. Mark will be there, and then we're bringing somebody in as well. You'll have all of our numbers. You can give us a call. We'll put it down. We got you. If the DDU is not open, definitely escalate that one so you don't get blamed for anything. Any issues, call us. We'll call the post office. We'll make sure that somebody gets there right away so your driver can go on to the next stop. Any refusals at the DDU as well is a big no-no. Call us. You cannot drop off the pallet if nobody is there. If somebody's refusing it and you don't want to have it in your truck to bring it back to the dock, you cannot leave it there. It has to wait, and then we'll call the post office, like I said, and try and get a hold of them. Yes.
Some facilities are a locked facility. You have to have a code to get into. Still, in that case, don't leave it.
It's not going to be locked.
Okay.
Yeah, it's can't leave any. Scanning issues, stops, and pallets must be updated in real time. It's kind of like I said, when you get to the dock, it's going to be close out the order. You have to get that signature from the FedEx clerk. That'll be what we're graded on, which then you guys are graded on, is the closing out of the orders. That's big. Returns. So there's only 1 or 2 routes that actually have returns. I can send you guys the list of those routes. You just scan the pallet like normal, or not scan the pallet, I'm sorry, you load up the pallet after dropping off, and then you bring it back to the dock. There will be a stage at the dock that is designated for returns. Just drop it off there, let them know, hey, here's my sheet, here's the return pallet. We'll take care of it from there. Dispatching, it's kind of internal. Let's see what's in here.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, you should be good, Sonny. I don't think anything fast. So this is for you guys. Location services on your phone has to be on at all time. Our dispatchers will be tracking you. Not like to make sure you're doing everything all right, but we'll just be seeing where you are in your progress on a route. And that way, if you do call us and you'll say, hey, like I'm running late or something, we can see where you're stuck in or what's going on at the time to make sure, maybe give you another route that you could go. So, expectations at the DDU. This is, they call it the USPS acceptance handshake. You have to make sure there is a clerk there, which means that you have a signature from them. Crossdocs will scan using data track for drivers. That is the new app that you are required to download on your phone. If anybody has not downloaded that, meet up with myself or Kingsley after this meeting, and we'll get you guys set up in there. You're logged in as well. Let's see, location services, like I said, allows us to track where you guys are, tracks pallet scans, allows the visibility of the drivers for real-time tracking, and then if there is a delay or a closure, we can give you directions on maybe somewhere else that you would be able to go to hurry up your route. FedEx portal, that is internal. You can go next. Alright, some safety. I mean, we preach this a lot on the docks with everything that we do. We're increasing the visibility and safety in our corporate office, and we're trying to make sure that everybody in the field is doing that as well. So we can talk about it all the time. We can make sure that we're taking the measures, but when you guys are out on the road, there's only so much we can do. So you guys, there's no rush. You know the weather's getting bad. Not necessarily snow out here, but if you go to the mountains, there is. But you'll be in the Bay Area. Fitness, that's more for us. We looking at you guys coming in. You look like you've been working 10 hours, and then you're coming in to do a 4 or 5 hour route. Probably gonna say something. Incidents and injury reporting. If anything happens to you on the road, call the local team as fast as possible. We'll get either, if you're hurt and you cannot drive or your truck is completely down, we'll make sure to get somebody else out there to take the freight from you, and that way you don't have to worry about it. It's no longer your issue. Must be recorded on the INET. That is local. Safety will conduct a root cause investigation. That is local. Accidents, like I said, escalate those as quickly as possible, and then we will follow up with your driver manager about the details of that accident, make sure everything's all right, and then we're good to go from there for whoever. Drivers going forward, can we get a replacement, stuff like that. Follow up on the safety and DOT. Every truck has to be running under the company's DOT and NC number. You guys have all been informed of that. That is big. No coming in, and if you don't have an NC number or DOT number, you cannot leave the dock with that freight. Audits, that is, let's see, that is internal. Accident prevention. So pre-shift stretching, that is more for our team. Not gonna make you guys come on the dock and start doing some stretches. You're good. Communication. Oh, you're good.
Should I go back?
Yeah. Communication will be for at least the week. It'll be myself, Kingsley, and Mark. If you don't have our numbers after this meeting, get our numbers. We'll be on the dock. Building safety. Report any hazards on the dock that you see. If you're loading up, there's a spill or something, let us know. Forklift. I don't think there's any forklifts on the docks. First aid. You guys are all good there. Everybody knows what first aid kits are. We'll make sure to point them out when we get to the dock. If you don't. Emergency evacuation plans. I don't think you guys will have to be worrying too much about that. That'll be for the people stationed on the dock, so you get there. Resources. If you have any questions if we're saying that your drivers are being unsafe, I guess more for the driver managers. If we're saying your drivers are being unsafe on the dock or in the yard, that they're not being safe, let us know. We'll get you guys the safety SOPs of what FedEx requires. It's pretty similar to what you guys are already doing, which is don't be crazy on the dock, driving in and out like a wild man. Safety contact, this will be for us, Brian Carter. Escalate to the local team first before you call him. Probably won't answer. Just kidding. And that should be it. Kingsley, do you want to go over some of the operations?
All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. So I'm Kingsley. I'm the area manager for JW for Reno, California, and the Pacific Northwest. So I'll be overseeing the FedEx operations for JW. The local manager for FedEx is not here today, but he'll be joining us, in the next few days. Mark will be supporting me in this process in Sacramento. So I just Daniel already hit on the couple points that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to go through like the core operations and what we actually expect. So for JW, we're very big on safety, security, and service. Those are the things we pride ourselves with. Most of you already work with us. So most of these things are just reputation. So you already know what we do and how we do it. But I'm still just going to go ahead and brief you guys again about it. So safety, security, and services, it's our number. Those are the three most important things that we look out for in JW, nationwide. We want to make sure everything, we are operating all our equipment and everybody's safe. Security is a big component of that, and service. We want to make sure we provide the best service to our vendors. That's how we continue to grow our business, and that's how you guys also continue to grow your business. So that's a very important part of it. So under safety, we had a meeting with the FedEx management on Wednesday, and they gave us a bunch of things they want us to do, to talk to you guys about. Every facility is different. They all have their different protocols and things like that. If you work with us with some other accounts, you would know that they also have their own safety protocols that they go through. So for FedEx, it's this one is general safety vest. Every driver, everybody on the dock must have a safety vest on. No safety vest, no entry. They're very big on that, and we expect everybody. We've all been doing this for a while, so I don't think there's any driver here that doesn't have a safety vest. So I would assume that we are good on that. So no safety vest, no entry. During loading, your engine must be off. Your engine must be off, your tires chopped, because there've been some safety incidents in the past where somebody was loading and somebody drove off and fell down, and so we're trying to avoid those kind of things. So your truck must be off, your tires must be chopped, because FedEx does random checks, to see if we are actually complying with the safety regulations. So we don't want a situation where they do a random check and we fail, so we need to make sure we are following that. Then we've had situations in the past in a lot of our other accounts where drivers jump off the dock doors. We had that recently in Portland, PDX5, where 2 drivers jumped off the dock door and they were banned immediately. So that's a no-no for any account, but since we're talking about FedEx, it's a no-no for FedEx. Drivers can't jump off the door. You can't even stretch your head out of the door, because it's a very busy yard, and they don't want a situation where you stretch your head and boom, somebody just drives past or something. So no jumping, no stretching your head out to see what's going on the other side. So that's something I would expect everybody to follow. That's a simple process. That's a normal safety process for the kind of operations we do. And another one is no riding of pallet jacks. a lot of drivers sometimes want to like ride on their pallet jack because it's faster. And in FedEx, it's a little bit different and it's tempting because FedEx is a little bit, is more open than some of the other accounts we operate with. So most times it's just the JW staffs on the floor. Like I was in Seattle a couple of days ago for the FedEx in Seattle, and it was basically me and 3 other JW staffs on the floor. So they expect us to follow those safety guidelines, even though you don't really have a FedEx staff on the ground. We still need to follow those protocols. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So that's a very important thing. No riding of pallet jacks, no running on the dock, and we also need to follow the speed limits. The posted signs, we need to follow the speed limits so we don't get ourselves into trouble. Yeah, so that's that for safety. There's a lot of other things about safety that I'm sure you guys know. So if something is wrong, you shouldn't do it. Even if you're not told, you should know what is wrong in this industry safety-wise. So we're all trying to protect ourselves. No package is worth a life. So we're trying to protect ourselves and make sure we're doing things right. Security. So this is a little bit different for most of you that have worked with us with some different accounts. I know, like for Amazon, the process is different. For FedEx, your badge is very important. Badging is very important because it's not like Amazon where they have staffs there 24/7. In FedEx, sometimes they don't have staffs there. So if a driver shows up without his badge, then that's a problem because he can get it. And in FedEx, they allow you one time grace period to forget your badge. After that, then we'll need to talk about it. So it's really different from Amazon. So we just need to make sure we have our badge with us all the time. No badging of anybody. Every driver should have a badge, come with a badge, and just endeavor to make sure you have your badge with you all the time, so we don't go through that process. Because we might not have somebody on the floor that can actually issue you a badge, and so that's very important. So we should, first of all, do we all have badges? Is there anybody without a badge yet?
Yeah, we still have some.
We still have some people without badges?
Yeah.
Okay, we just need to make sure that is done so we don't get into that situation. All right. So this is a complex one. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but honestly, I don't actually understand it 100%. So when I go on the dock, I would actually ask more questions, and because the facility is big, so there are a lot of exit and entrances and things like that. So I'm not quite sure which is which. So when we get to the dock, I would get some clarification on this. So normally, what I was told is drivers will come in at the security gate and check in with security. Security will issue them the document. Then they will now drive out, park their truck on the door, then walk around the building to come in through the turnstile, through the metal detectors and the security gates. So so it's a little bit complicated. It's not like Amazon where you just drive home and you get to the door. So there are a lot of different processes. I'm not really familiar with the FedEx warehouse, so that's why I said this is a little bit complicated. I would get more clarification on the dock when I get on the dock. That's the launch day. So basically, you check in with security. You get a document, a paper from security. They direct you where to go. You park your truck on the dock. Then you walk out and come in through the security gate. Because coming in through the security gate, because you're not supposed to have your personal belongings with you. No phones, nothing. So there's a cage and there are lockers where you can keep all your phones and everything. Then you walk in. do what you have to do. Then when you go out, then you can take your stuff and go. So we were told that drivers can park in the employee parking lots. Drivers can also park on the streets. You know, there are a lot of spaces on the street to park also. So yeah, but on this one, I would for sure need to get some clarification because I'm not sure which gets which. Because when we even went for the meeting, took us probably 10 minutes before we actually found where we were actually supposed to enter from. So we'll get some more clarification on that. So as I said, drivers can park on the in the employee lots or on the street while they're going through all these processes before they actually park into their doors. Okay. All deliveries must be done within the delivery window that we've given out. You know, we don't want a situation where people just do whatever they want. We need you guys to follow the sequence, the delivery window, all the procedures that we've laid out. You know, we need everybody to follow those procedures to the letter. You know, so that's part of the service. In JW, we kind of like our foundation. We have something we call the 7 C's. It's the foundation of which we run our organization. You know, it's something we pride ourselves with. We do a lot of evaluation. Even when we evaluate our partners, we use the 7 C's. You know, it's character, communication, competence, commitment, consistency, creativity, and chemistry. So each of these 7 C's answers a question. If you follow the 7 C's, you're not going to have any problem because everything is outlined in the 7 C's. I'm just going to talk about one, which is communication. Communication is key because no matter what happens, you know, you're late to your delivery, your driver is a no-call, no-show, or your driver is running late, accident, whatever happens, we need that communication. It might be bad, don't try to hide it. Because if you hide it, we'll find out somehow. And when we find out, it's not going to be nice. So it's always the right thing to do is to be upfront, honest, and transparent. You know, we need that communication immediately. It's like something is going down, you call the dispatch number, you call the manager on the dock, and you say, this is what's going down. So we know. So that way we can work together to come up with a solution. So communication is key, and that's one of the 7 C's that we operate on in JW. So we expect you guys to also kind of like, you know, follow that trend. So communication. That's really vital. We need communication. Whatever situation it is, we need you guys to communicate with us. You know, we don't want to be left in the dark. And one thing I just want to add is, you know, this is a new account. As you see, we're growing nationwide, and we want to grow more. So what we do today affects our growth. You know, there's a reason why we were brought in. So we need to continue that trend. We need to make sure we are successful. And the very first day for me is the most important day, because we can't fall on our faces the first day. We need to make sure that first day we hit 100% on everything we have to do. You know, so we can start on a very good footing. You know, we don't want the first day to be, oh, 4 drivers didn't show up, oh, this happened, that happened. You know, we just need to be on point that first day and continue the process like that. So that would also give the customer confidence in us. You know, because I know for the first few days and weeks, they'll be watching us closely to see if we are making mistakes or we're doing what we have to do. Then after that, they to be like, oh, okay, this guy's got it, you know, and they would back off a little bit. But if we start failing from the first day, it's not going to be a smooth ride for all of us, you know. So let's try and make sure we are doing what we have to do. Yeah, so let me just jump into the operations a little bit, as this is kind of like the reason why we're here today. So drivers should arrive. FedEx is a very easy account. You know, for those of you that work with us for Amazon, this is like a piece of cake. I can tell you that for sure. You know, it's a very easy account. But that being said, we don't want to relax and feel like, oh, okay, this is easy. We do a lot of things that are harder than this, so we just relax. No, we still need to hit that mark that we've always set for ourselves. So drivers should arrive 30 minutes before CPT. So when we had the meeting with FedEx, they kind of like gave me their timing. So for the GSA 30 routes, drivers are expected to come in at 1:30. Then for the GSA 20 routes, drivers should arrive at 2:30 because of the staging time. So that was the latest information that they gave me based on the staging time, you know. So 1:30 for GSA 30 and 2:30 for GSA 20. We'll be operating in 2 waves. So the first wave will be GSA 30, then the second wave will be GSA 20. Because we've been given 10 doors. So when you guys come in that night to direct you where the doors are. So we have 10 doors that have been dedicated just for us, for GSA 20 and for GSA 30. So it's going to be in waves. So the first drivers come in, they load, they leave, then 2:30, the second drivers come in, they load and they leave. So that way we don't have dock congestion. All drivers must have a pallet jack. I know we face this issue a lot with Amazon where drivers show up without pallet jacks. This is a different operations and we are not allowed to use FedEx pallet jacks. You know, so every driver needs to have a pallet jack. And hopefully we all already have pallet jacks. If we don't, we still have a couple hours to get one. I would suggest the pink pallet jack. Yeah, the pink ones are really nice. Yeah, so everybody should have a pallet jack. That should be standard procedure. Then for the returns, as Daniel was saying, so there's a form, 3801 form, as they call it. It's a form where drivers need to fill out and give to the post office. It's a one-time thing. You just fill it out. We've done it, all drivers have done it for Amazon already. That gives you the authority to take returns from the post office. So we'll issue out that form. So for those of you that will be doing returns, you would have that form, fill it out, and you just give it to the post office so they sign it, so you have authority to pick returns for FedEx. One other thing FedEx doesn't want is USPS equipment. So we're not allowed to bring the returns with USPS equipment. Sometimes the clerks at USPS, for some reason, might decide, oh, take the metal cages because it's easy. They don't want to like offload it and do extra work, and they put it in the USPS cages. When you do that, it just creates problem for us because now we have to take it back, you know, and it takes up space too at the warehouse at FedEx. So they don't want that. So we have to use galods and boxes, and boxes will be provided for every driver. You can have like the big boxes in your truck. So whenever you're doing returns, you just dump them in and bring them back. But no FedEx, no USPS equipment. So that's a big no-no. So even if the clerk at the post office wants to give you the returns in a USPS equipment, reject it and tell them to put it in a box or something else. Let's not take the USPS equipment with us. All right, so auditing pallets. So Daniel talked about it. We need to, it's our responsibility to make sure whatever we are loading in our truck is what we actually want. You know, we've seen situations where drivers just come, as long as the pallets are staged, they just, in their lane, they just put it in their truck without actually checking. Especially for Amazon, it's easy because you scan. And when you scan, you can actually see the post office and see if it belongs to you. But in FedEx, we don't do load scan. So it's all on us to make sure what we are loading is actually correct. So you need to do your pallet audits, check the label, check the boxes inside, at least 2 boxes inside the pallets to make sure they match the label, and if you see something that is not right, just raise your hand, talk to somebody. I would investigate it and probably, do something, but make sure you do your audits before you load your truck. So drivers will be given the trip sheets. Basically, you have 2 trip sheets. There will be one from JW that shows all your stops and, just like what we do for the other accounts. But FedEx also have a trip sheet. That trip sheet is very, very important to FedEx. It's like you have all your stops, you have the pallet count, you have everything. And then you have your POD column, you have your signature. They need a name and a signature for every post office, because that's the only way they validate it. Because they take that paper, and if there's any issue, any problem, they go back to the post office and they need to have a name to show that yes, XYZ signed for this pallet. So if you don't have a name or POD, it's a big issue for them. So this is a very important aspect of the operation. The form is called OP504. So every driver would have that. When you get to that also prevents us from just dropping pallet unattended. But we shouldn't do that also. So when you drop the pallet, you make sure there's a clerk that signs, and they put their name down for every stop that we have. Then you bring it back, give it to the JW staff. They would now compile all for all drivers and present it to FedEx. We need to give them that every day. It's a big part of the operations. They still like paperwork. It's not like Amazon that everything is almost electronic now. They still like the paperwork, to validate things. So we need to make sure we're doing that. Yeah, so as I said, we have 10 doors that we'll be using for dispatch that have been assigned to JW. So we'll let you guys know the doors on the route assignments when you guys show up. Then scanning. So we don't do load scan, right? But the FedEx team would scan all the pallets on the dock. All the pallets on the dock. That is how the information transfers to their system, to JW system and everything. So we need to make sure the hub scanner has scanned everything on the dock or everything for your route before you start loading. Because we have situations where drivers load up before FedEx completes their scanning, and now we're missing one pallet. So you just need to make sure, get the green light first that, oh yeah, you're good to go before you load. And drivers have the habit of removing the label, sticking it by the door, loading the pallet and leaving, then expecting the FedEx hub scanners to come